The Ark of the Covenant, and more importantly, the Shekinah glory, was present with Israel when they entered the Promised Land. From the plains of Moab and the departure of Moses, the armies of Israel and the Lord of hosts entered the land. The walls of Jericho came down, then up to the battle at Ai, and then on to defend the Gibeonites at the central Benjamin Plateau, and defeat the confederation of southern Canaanite kings in the valley of Ajalon, where God made the sun stand still. The glory of the Lord was present with the Ark of the Covenant and the armies of Israel as they subdued the land. Ultimately, it came to rest in a beautiful location known even today as Shiloh. With a little imagination and transporting ourselves back some 3,000 years ago, we can visualize the childhood of Samuel. Almost 400 years prior to Samuel's life, we might capture the excitement of the 12 tribes of Israel gathered together after the land was subdued before them, and they set up the tabernacle of meeting there. It was at the door of the tabernacle that the heads of the tribes of Israel divided the land by casting lots. As we look on the ruins, it certainly is much easier to imagine the inevitable question as to what happened here. It is described in the days of Samuel's childhood. Samuel had been dedicated by his previously barren mother Hannah to the Lord in a Nazirite vow. He was weaned and given into the care of Eli, the judge and high priest in Israel, for service in the tabernacle. The security of the nation's place of worship, and the only home that Samuel would have ever known as a boy, was soon to be destroyed, and the Ark of the Covenant would be taken by the fierce and pagan Philistine armies. If you can see the rectangle below, it is the exact size of the tabernacle, which was 150 feet by 75 feet. If this is indeed the case, the side to our right would have been the entrance to the tabernacle. It would have been the area where the leaders of the 12 tribes met, where Eli overheard Hannah's prayer for a child, and where Samuel would have served Eli in the formative years of his childhood. The days were dark in Israel, at a time when every man did what was right in his own eyes, and the tribes were partaking in the abominable idolatries of Canaanite worship. The corrupt sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas were forcibly stealing the sacrificial offerings and committing adultery with women who assembled at the door of the tabernacle. Psalm 78 tells us, "The Lord abandoned the dwelling place at Shiloh, the tent which he had pitched among men, and gave up his strength to captivity and his glory into the hand of the adversary. He also delivered his people to the sword and was filled with wrath at his inheritance." The battle took place at Ebenezer, and after an initial defeat in which Israel lost 4,000 men, they called upon Hophni and Phinehas to bring the Ark of the Covenant to the battlefield. On that fateful day, Israel then lost 40,000 men in battle. Hophni and Phinehas were killed, and the Ark of the Covenant was taken by the Philistines. To the left of the ruins of the city, looking west, you see the valley where a runner carried the sad news to the city. And as Eli heard the news while sitting upon the throne of the judge of Israel, he fell over backwards and broke his neck. The Philistines most likely poured into Shiloh from this same valley. What had been the central place of worship for Israel for almost 400 years was reduced to this pile of rubble. It would have been the only security that Samuel knew as a child. They razed the city and the tabernacle, and the caretaker and mentor that Samuel had known as a child was dead. All this in a day, and Israel and their young prophet Samuel were dramatically changed. For Samuel the priest and prophet, his calling will be to selflessly transition his nation into an era of kings leading the nation instead of judges. Samuel remembered and recorded the words of the man of God who came to Eli. He said, "For those who honor me I will honor, and those who despise me will be lightly esteemed." Our sovereign God's plan is unfolding in human history, and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our actions and attitudes devoted to the glory of God and God's plan will determine whether our destiny will be esteemed with honor or cursed in our Creator's disdain. May we follow after Samuel and the men of old and our Lord Jesus Christ, that men may see our good works and glorify our Father.